we go. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here. We do have amazing therapists at Radiant Living Center and practitioners, and I wanted to give this opportunity for you to get to know them and know a lot about them. Before we start with that, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Radiant Living Center. We've been here about 5 years now, growing and expanding. I've been in this complex and doing energy body work for about 15 years. And several years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, several of us got together, different practitioners and therapists, and wanted to expand so we could have a space like this to do lectures and information in. And so there were several of us that came together, and then my name got on the lease, and so I kind of took over that responsibility. And so with all the volunteers and all the helpers and all of the wonderful things that have been happening over the last 5 years, in 2018, we became a nonprofit so that we could begin to accept donations. Yeah, you know that, yeah. We became a nonprofit and we've done a few fundraisers, and so I wanted to tell you about our most current fundraiser, which is one of the little brochures that's on your thing, which is a founding member. You can sign up online. There's information on this sheet about becoming a founding member, and it's just agreeing to make an automatic donation of anywhere from $10 to I think it's $50 a month. And that way it gives us some more income of what's coming in, because sometimes in a nonprofit and with this place, things get a little tight. So we would appreciate any of that. And along with that, you get a t-shirt or a cup. You get early entry to any of the events. You get, like when we have our spring or our fall fun fair, which will be like October 12th, I think. Haven't told the others yet. And sometime in October we'll be doing another fun fair, and we have a lot of participation there, and food trucks and a lot of opportunities to experience things. You get early entry into the fun fair. The first hour is only for founding members. And the thing that we're going to add to this today is we have been donated a pyramid. It's out in the courtyard, so if you have a chance, you can either go out that door or the other doorway in the hallway and take a look at the pyramid. And if you become a founding member, we're going to make unlimited access to sit in the pyramid. It's tall enough. It's made out of copper with infused with Lemurian seed crystals. So it's very healing, and here's some information about the benefits of sitting in a crystal in a pyramid. So if you become a founding member, as long as it's available, sometimes it's just texting me when we're open, just letting you know, or if you're here for an event, we've been having it set over there. If you want to sit in the pyramid while you're listening to some kind of lecture or meditation or whatever, if you become a founding member, we'll make unlimited access. Otherwise, it's used kind of on a donation basis. So anyway, lots of good things happening around here. So just wanted to share with you all the wonderful things and all the wonderful therapists that we have. There's also a calendar of events in your seat there. We have everything in this lecture room, from yoga to meditation classes, a lot of sound healing events. So see what's on the calendar. And if not, go to our website, radiantlivingok.com, and you can see all of the events and bios on a lot of the therapists that we have. All right, any questions? So, I don't have my agenda. Who's first? Melissa, I knew that.
And Brent.
And Brent. Yay, a husband and wife team. Totally different.
Are we taking a break or?
Nope, come on up. Okay.
I'm Melissa Lennington, and I am a certified practitioner. I provide diamond and gemstone therapy. I provide advanced angelic healing and Bach flower remedies consultation. The diamond and gemstone therapy, I work with therapeutic quality diamonds and therapeutic quality gemstones. It helps relieve congested energy in the body and aura. It works quickly. A 30-minute session can dramatically help you. It helps with body aches, pain. When combined with Power Reiki, it helps with chronic illness. The advanced angelic healing is very nourishing, and nourishing the body and aura is extremely important, especially when we're dealing with a lot of depletion that we deal with now with stress and releasing past trauma. The angelic healing also helps with heartache, and it can help with stress relief, of course, and pretty much any condition. It's one of my favorites. And I also work with gemstones with that as well. The Bach flower remedies, it's a 30-minute consultation where we discuss your condition. It releases the emotional burden, and you leave with a bottle of remedy that you take 2 to 4 weeks afterwards. I also lead meditation with gemstones once a month on or near the new moon, and we do repeat a mantra, which is also called chanting for lifting your vibrations and breaking down patterns and supporting new pattern growth. That's also with gemstones, and they are always related to love, peace, or wisdom. We switch back and forth. I do chakra therapy, which is extremely important for our personal health. I recommend that you do that in meditation every day, but if you don't, or if you need help with your chakras, I have specific gemstones that work with congested energy in your chakras, but removing that stagnant energy, reshaping and correcting the chakra so it performs better for you. It reaches out in front of you and behind you. And you may have backdoor leaks, which correcting those will help prevent an illness from reoccurring. And I also help your chakras bring in their native color rays, which is life-giving energies for you. And I have brochures over there, t-shirt for sale, which is Infinite Love Meditations, which is a meditation class about love, peace, and wisdom, which is one of my passions, and a sheet that talks about diamond and gemstone therapy, what it is, what to expect, how it works, and that's it. Thank you. This is my husband, Brent.
My name is Brent Blunt, and I am going to do a workshop on the medicine wheel and on September 21st. I am a member of the Métis Nation, United States. They're the Métis are the mixed bloods. So the French fur traders came down and they mixed with the Cree, Ojibwe in the Mississippi River area. That's what I'm a part of, and we're connected to the council in Canada. I've also done several vision quests, which are where you fast for 4 days and for whatnot. I have to do one every year as a teacher just to stay sane. And I've also danced the Sundance for several years, which is an 8-day ceremony which you dance for world peace, for your family, that the people might live, etc. And so I want to talk about wanted to talk about what we'll be talking about on the 21st, which is first kind of a general idea about the medicine wheel and these handouts over here if you want to see. And this is more specifically from the Lakota idea of the Great Spirit, the Great Mystery, the 16 Faces of Wakan Tatanka. But if you go back, it's more Wakankan, because a lot of the people, when they said Wakantanka, they were just talking about the god of the dominant culture, not where the really roots came from. So that briefly was is the sun, the earth, the rock, the moon, passion, the thunder beam, the buffalo and the bear, the four winds, the white buffalo calf woman, the spirit, the ghost, the intellect, and the immaterial self of irrational things. The Lakota words are over there. And then I have a general chart that's more about the cycles of life, the way we go through birth, learning, wisdom, and death. And the colors on the medicine wheel were more added in more recently. The first ones, it was just all one color. The red was more the direction when the sun rose in the east. So, like in some tribes, the red was north or south, depending on where they were. But the one I was given, which is what we'll be focusing on, we'll do some healing work with, which I was given songs for all these specific ones. Once again, this chart is over here too. It's on YouTube. If you go to my name, Brent Blunt, it's Medicine Wheel flute songs. I recorded all these in one thing. It's a 38-minute tape. So I recorded them all like 4 times in a row on 4 different flutes. So all these relatives here have their own song. The moon was in the creator position, which I want to point out real quickly. The center of the medicine wheels, like you, that's where you want to be. And this is kind of like what Atmanambi was saying last year, the space between yourself and the mind. So it's getting back in the center. But the bear, the rock, the cedar and the sage, white buffalo calf woman, the buffalo, Wazi and Wakanka, deer, means I'm out of time. Deer, the crow, eagle, hawk, horse, spotter woman from the Navajo. That's in part because we go to the Sundance now in Red Valley, Arizona on the Navajo reservation. The owl, the kestrel, the badger, and the turtle. And we'll be working with those to get healings, including physical, soul retrievals, clearings, guidance, forgiveness. And let me end with saying, for what seems like the people's purpose and the planet's purpose, I think the most important direction here is the east, because from the Wulbrighty wheel, which I danced at Hollow Horn Dance, I was eagle dancing when they brought the Wulbrighty wheel through, which had 101 eagle feathers on it. That direction is forgiving the unforgivable. So I think it's what Earth needs right now. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sorry, Brian, we're getting right in front of the camera. Thank you. That's just a beginning of the wonderful things that we have happening here at Radiant Living and the wonderful opportunities that we have. So Janelle, these are your tickets, and so you can go pick right now what you would like to choose, so that I'm going to draw another person's name. Yay! Kathy Bray! Yay! She's our big helper back there, and she helps us a lot. She's one of our wonderful volunteers. Thanks, Kathy. And so our next presenter is Jerry Walters. We appreciate Jerry. He's been here a while, and he's one of our laughing healers.
Well, I gotta have to go by laughing healer nowadays. The other half decided to take off and transition on me. That wasn't any fun, but anyway. Basically what I do is I work through my hands. Spirits kind of guides me to where I need to go, where to place them. I've had trainings in healing touch, engulfing, massage therapy, shiatsu, all different types of techniques. Plus what I get from intuitive and working with this. So that and my training as a psychotherapist together works pretty well for dealing with most situations. It works out pretty nice. That's just about it. And if anybody's got any questions, go ahead and run them. Because, well, I'm what you see, what you get. You know, and you get what you see kind of deal. I try to be as straightforward and upfront with it as I possibly can. What happens in the room stays in the room. I have a unique memory. It goes in, but it don't come out. So I have to ask your name every time I come in because I don't know anymore. It's kind of embarrassing sometimes.
Even if your name is the same name as your wife.
Exactly. That makes it even worse. Yes, Kathy, I know. I finally got it. It only took 5 years. Anyway, that's kind of pretty much what I do. I do classes on sessions on Fridays and Saturdays, 12, 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on Fridays, and 3, 4, and 5 on Saturdays. So hopefully we can get people who are working whatever, so they get a chance to rest. Through the events calendar, you can look for healing sessions with Jerry. Click on there. It'll be a link to the appointee.com system, which I can access and you guys log into, and then you can schedule your own appointments whichever time you want, whichever dates you want, which works out pretty well. Dates that are not available will be marked off, so you can't get an appointment. They'll be lined in red or not highlighted at all, or not lit at all. Usually it's pretty fine. It's a love donation basis. There's no set fee. It's whatever you feel like happening. And that's pretty much how it goes. I'm pretty easy going. I miss my other half really severe though sometimes, so that's part of the deal. I also work with stones and stuff depending on what's happening, or either energy levels, chakras. Mostly a lot of it has to do with clearing body memories of traumas. We can help get that stuff out, which seems to work out pretty well. So that's it. I can tap dance for a little bit. I don't think it's gonna work because I got sneakers on. Sorry, I'm not that great, but hey, whatever. We'll see what happens.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. We do
welcome.
appreciate you, and he's here on Fridays and Saturdays on a donation basis, and he does wonderful work, so we really appreciate him. Okay, the next winner is Cecilia Tully.
Oh, wow.
Yay! Go back there and Kathy will let you pick.
It's all timing. It's all timing, Cal.
That's really good. Perfect. And our next presenter is, I'm so happy to have her as a part of our Radiant Living Center. And Randall, are you going to speak today too, or no? Okay. All right. Allison's going to present today and tell you about the wonderful things that she's doing here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Allison. This is my partner, Randall. We're licensed massage therapists, but we don't really work under that label so much because what we do really goes farther beyond what most people think of as massage. So we're trying to work with new labels like manual therapy, movement therapy, things like that. If we seem a little dazed, it's because we just got back from a week-long dance conference in Mexico, like less than 48 hours ago, so forget that. We're also dance instructors as well, in addition to this. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm very soft-spoken. So a lot of what our work focuses on is not just working on you, but working with you, with your body. Because from our perspective, it's not just what I can do for you. It's how we can work together and how I can help change your perspective and how you're approaching your daily life to help assist in your healing. So if everyone would stand up, I like to do like exercises just to kind of let us see the kind of work that we do. Just maybe step away from your chair so you're not close to it. It's just a simple little demonstration. I want everyone to just start having your feet maybe about hips width and just start bending your knees. Just bending your knees and go down as far as you can before you start trembling. Once you reach that point, stop.
Oh, it's free.
And come up whenever you don't feel comfortable anymore. All right, cool. That's all I've got for you. Sit down. So I just want everyone to notice how that felt. If it felt uncomfortable, notice your range of motion. A normal human range of motion would be all the way down here. This is how most humans in most parts of the world until recently would spend their time hanging out. We don't use chairs, we don't drive in cars until recently. And so like our modern lifestyles have had a huge effect on our physiology and how much we are capable of nowadays, because we've sort of shifted our approach to life to making everything more convenient physically, which is a normal human desire to make things easier. We want to preserve our energy. So when we also lived more like closer to nature, when we had to find our own food, hunt for our own food, make fires, make everything that we own, like we had to do a lot more physical work, so we're hardwired to conserve energy as much as possible. But the problem is that now with modern technology, we've allowed that tendency to preserve energy to go to the opposite extreme, which it is now causing us physical problems. Whereas before, it helped us to be able to accomplish everything that we need to do on our daily lives. Now we've taken that to the extreme because of modern technology, that it is actually becoming a detriment to our bodies if we're not careful and we're not being more conscious about how we use modern technology. I'm not, I have no problem with modern technology. It has a wonderful effect for our lives and can be very helpful in many instances, but I do think that since we have that now, we need to be more aware of how it's affecting our bodies. So what we like to do in our work is very hands-on. So it's more like, what you would expect from a massage session. Our training has a lot of movement with it, so it's not just tissue work, but it's also actually moving your body around. But I also like to work with people to educate them and learn about their lives, what they do for work, what their hobbies are, what they want to do, and help them readjust their view of how they go about their daily lives. Because everybody tells us that we need more exercise, but not all of us like to exercise, like I've never been one who likes exercising. I like to be active, I like doing things, but I don't like exercising just for the sake of exercising. And I know a lot of people fall under that category. So what I get really excited about is finding ways to do the things that you're going to do in your normal daily life anyway, in a way that gives you more movement, that helps you work away from the negative effects of the excessive convenience that we have because of modern technology. So, I'm sorry, I could go on and on and on about this because super interesting to me and I love working with it. But that's just the basic sort of introduction to how we work. My background is I have been a yoga instructor and I trained in Thai massage and orthopedic massage, and I integrate a lot of other practices into my work. Randall, I'll let you, I will let you talk about yourself.
Thanks. My name is Randall Gonzalez. I've been doing massage for some years now. I started out getting my bachelor's from Oklahoma State University. I studied there for some years, graduated with a bachelor's degree in physiology. Then I went and I got an associate's degree in massage therapy. And one thing I just want to touch on that Allison's talking about, she mentioned some about the movement as you experienced. She had us all get out of the chair and she asked us to go to our comfort level. And some people, they can go like this, some people like this, some people like this. If you're Allison, you're going to sit yourself on the floor and stand right back up, no problem. But one of the things that you did that and you experienced it and you're like, oh, I'm already done. I don't want to do that anymore because it doesn't feel good. There's no way I can go any lower than that. One of the things that stops us from achieving that is in our mind. It's what we think we're capable of and what we're not capable of. For example, myself, I'm still learning this, and this last couple of weeks in Mexico is a perfect example of this because I have a couple of bad knees. I have two. I've had 3 knee surgeries on this, 1 knee surgery on that. And after my 4th knee surgery, the doctor told me, you need to stop doing any kind of really high impact activities because that's just going to kill your knee, and you're not going to have good knees for the rest of your life. So you need to just take precious care of what little you have left. And so I spent the majority of my life just softly walking. And if someone's like, oh, hey, let's have a race, I'm good. I'm going to just walk right here. But then I discovered dance. And I remember the first time I went out to class, I saw how they were turning. They're turning like this. And I'm like, that's going to tear my knee up. I'm really nervous about this. But my friend said, oh, well, if you dance in your socks, it's a little bit easier on your knees. So I was like, okay, let me try that. So I danced in my socks for a while. But as I continued to go to the lessons, go out to the socials, I go dance more, I noticed a change physiologically in my body. And my legs, my muscles got stronger. The pain that was in my knees, the pins and needles from just walking down the steps, they disappeared, and it was wonderful. I was like, I don't understand what's happening, but I know that dance has something to do with it, so I went and I did it. A thing that just happened literally just this last week. If you ask Allison, every time we go to this place in Tulsa, it's called Miami Nights, they have a concrete dance floor. And I dance there, and every single night I dance because I love it. But then when we're going to the car, I'm kind of limping because my knees are hurting because I just danced on the concrete floor instead of a nice wooden floor with my nice shoes that allow me to spin and turn. I was just turning in tennis shoes, and I'm just going, I need to get to the car and I can just sit for 2 hours and just baby it. This last week, we went to Playa del Carmen to Mexico. I took 2 pairs of dance shoes and I used 1 pair for maybe 10 minutes of dancing. The reason why is because they don't have nice dance floors. They don't have the conveniences that we had here at our normal nice studios. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to just destroy my knees this week. The first day I go out dancing, and everyone's having such an amazing time. And I'm just thinking, okay, my knees are hurting, I'm going to go ahead and sit down. And Allison even said, do you want to dance with me? And I said, I can't because my knees are hurting and I can't do anymore right now. And so I'm going to take it easy, and that was a normal response. But every single day, we walked in the sweltering heat, miles and miles and miles on concrete, uneven pavement. These roads.
Averaging like 5 or 6 miles a day walking.
Yes.
Walking in addition to
That's only
5
walking.
or 6 hours of dancing.
Yeah, I don't know how many miles we danced, but miles just walking. And this isn't nice paved roads. These are really uneven grounds, really kind of dangerous looking, kind of sketchy. But we traversed this route to the studio and back to our apartment, to this studio, back to the apartment, back to the beach party, back to our apartment, miles and miles. And I kid you not, I don't know what happened. By the end of the trip, like, I've been pounding concrete Not just walking, but dancing. Not just like I have to take big steps to dance. I'm talking like turns and spins, dancing on concrete in my sandals, barefoot. And the only thing I noticed were calluses on the balls of my feet from where I'm turning. But I didn't notice pain in my knee anymore. I didn't notice any pain in my ankles. And I noticed that I was able to breathe easier. I was able to walk easier. I was able to dance easier. Because the whole week I got rid of, I didn't have soda. I didn't have sugar. And it was so hot, I was drinking water. How many gallons of water did we go through? I don't know how many gallons of water we went through just in a day alone. And I'm telling you, my mind, the reason why I was hurting over here was because in my mind, I have bad knees. I can't dance on concrete. That's going to tear my knees up. I danced barefoot on concrete for a week straight, and my knees have never felt better. Ever since my knee surgeries, they've never felt better. So I would challenge you to question your capabilities, question yourselves. That you say, oh, this is as far as I go. This is all I got. I can't do anymore. I challenge you to challenge yourselves with that. And come and see us. Allison does a lot of amazing work in movement therapy as well. And if you say, Allison, this is all I've got, she's going to say, I bet you've got more. And she'll help you with that. We'll both help you with that. And that's all I've got.
Cool story.
Don't you just love the young energy? I love it. It's exciting. Thank you so much, Randall and Allison. Okay, and the next winner is Sandy C. Go pick your prize from Kathy back there. All right. Next on the list is Pam. We finally get to look at this overhead now that it's
If we can wake it back up.
that we can. Yeah, I'll just have to turn the TV because the TV went off. Yeah. It finally went off when we needed it. All right, she's gonna get her PowerPoint going. And this is Pam. Where is, there we go.
Should we go to the taskbar?
Yeah, just gotta find it with the mouse.
That's Microsoft PowerPoint. She's right in the middle. Get ready for that.
Thanks, Jerry.
You know, all three today.
I'd like to be in a relationship with him.
Just do it. Yeah, you give that to me. Yeah. I don't want to add to quick. Well, if it's not going to
Just gonna
go to the full page, I'm just not gonna worry about it, because you can probably see it well enough there if I can just get rid of that. Okay. I'm Pam Koenig, and the teacher in me wanted to do this, partly because some of the things that I want to mention that I am involved with, if you are not familiar with them, you might think, what the heck is that? How do you spell that? Whatever. I do have handouts of this out on the chairs too, which also has contact information, what have you. After a great deal of angst and consulting others who kind of figure out what to call things for a living, we came up with something that seemed to fit with what I'm wanting to do here. And so I am referring to myself as a Dharma facilitator, practitioner, and teacher. And Dharma has a lot of different meanings, and it's really kind of hard to define it in Western terms, but the way that I look at it is really your life's purpose when I'm talking about for individuals. And so the gifts that I have been given
are allowing me to help others find their Dharma. Helping facilitate that. It's inside of you. You just might need a little help bringing it out and discovering what it is. And I'm also a practitioner in that I'm still doing this with myself, and some of the things that I help others with, I am doing as a practitioner and a teacher. That's what I've been, which is another long story, but through workshops and what have you, I'll be working on that. So anyway, it's not going to do that for me, is it? I'm going to have to go on down to the, for some reason I can't get the slideshow to start for me. There we go. My own background, because I don't know all of you, I have been a college professor. I retired in 2013, and within 6 months I was starting on my own spiritual reawakening, which I had delayed since the early 70s, and I've been on the fast track ever since. It's kind of like, oh my God, I've got some catching up to do here. And so I started to develop if any of you know Debbie Mahoney, she told me what I was doing was a spiritual curriculum, because I was learning about this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And then after a while I'm like, whoa, I need to narrow down my focus a bit. So I started out being a yoga teacher, and then did all these other things, and finally narrowed it down and came down to what I really wanted to do, which was being the Dharma facilitator. And the main aspect of that is working with the Akashic Record. I found my passion. I found my love in doing this. It just lights up my life. There's other things I do, but this is the main thing. And I've become certified in 3 different areas, and I continue to do more. And for those of you who don't know about the Akashic Record, it's the record of your soul. From the time that it began, from God or source or whatever you want to call it, up till now. All of the experiences that you've made, the decisions that you've made, the actions that you've taken, the thoughts that you've had are in the record, the book of life, if you will. And it helps you to, going into your record, and I'm sure some of you have done this, asking the right questions, you can discern what your life's purpose is. Or you can discern answers to issues that you have, or just whatever it is, it's all there. And it helps you to understand, as I have here, why you're going through what you're going through, certain lessons that you've been learning, challenges, and so forth. And by accessing the Akashic Records, we can find things that we have done that are creating blocks in what we might want to be achieving, and figure out what they are and clear them so you can move on, as do so many other things, but the Akashic Record will allow you to do that as well. And what I have done and what I offer, if this is going to come up, Soul Realignment. This is a branded name, Soul Realignment through the Akashic Record. It's a specific protocol. It's very intensive, very extensive, where there's a whole lot of different things that I look at and access to that also include blocks and restrictions that you have developed either in this lifetime or previous lifetimes, and clear those blocks and help you to clear them yourselves. I'm going to jump down to the bottom one. Through the same teacher, I've learned the Akashic Record aspect of chakra analysis for helping with the balances there, and spirit guide coaching, acting as an intermediary, me, between the client and the client's team of spirit guides. And then I most recently have studied under Linda Howe, she's published a lot of books about the Akashic Record and how to read the record. She's a wonderful woman. Her program is through the Pathway Prayer, and it's much more generalized. Andrea Hess's Soul Realignment and the others are very specific. They're for very specific purposes. Like for instance, Susan Prescott, who is connected here, does that as well, learning under Andrea Hess, but she focuses on your relationship and your business and people that you work with and clients and that sort of thing. So it's much more detailed. So this is what I'm really, really excited about. Something else that I do that's not necessarily Dharma related, but it's allowing you to be clear, or clearer in order to pursue your life's purpose, is that I am also a Usui Holy Fire Reiki 3 master. And so I will do Reiki, as do many people in this room, if not everybody. And I also will be, at some point in time, having classes to teach level 1 and level 2 for Reiki, for certification. I'm also certified in Ho'oponopono, which is the ancient art of basically forgiveness. And I did this is something that I did very early on, and it has always remained with me because it works. You can accomplish so much through something so simple with Ho'oponopono. If you're not familiar with it, just very, very quickly, there was a doctor who was in Hawaii, who was a psychiatrist, is a psychiatrist, he's still around, clinical psychiatrist, and he was placed as head of a psychiatric hospital for criminal offenders in Hawaii, and the people were just out of control. And the staff were scared to death, and people wouldn't stay working very long because they were afraid of the patients, and they'd be walking through the hallways against the wall because they didn't want to turn their back on anybody, and it was horrible. He goes in, and he didn't meet a single patient. What he did was pray over them with, I've got chills, with the Ho'oponopono process. And it took a long time, but suddenly the patients started to be better. Some of them got off their meds, some of them were discharged into the world to work. The staff were happier, people quit leaving, and completely turned the thing around strictly by having all of their files out there. He didn't have to see these people. Having all of their files in front of him on his desk and praying over them. And so, like I said, I've been certified in that, and I can also help others learn how to do that if you don't already know how. The reason the blue bottles are on the slide is because that's one of the things that you learn at a workshop is making blue water and how it helps you, very, very simple, how it helps you spiritually. Yoga Nidra, I've been certified in about 1.5 years ago. If you're not familiar with Yoga Nidra, like I have up here, it's called Bliss for the Brain, and it's basically as you're in Shavasana or corpse pose or lying down on a mat, on the floor, on a rug, whatever. I take you through a guided meditation that all of your senses react to, and it's just a very, very relaxing, healing exercise. Roughly 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how long we want to go. I've done it in some of my yoga classes that I've taught in the past, and have had people say, I need to call an Uber, I don't think I can drive home. I feel like I just took a Xanax, you know, that kind of thing. So it's just wonderful. And so I offer that as well as another healing modality.
For who?
And you might say, what do those have to do with your Dharma? Again, it's the relaxation mode. It's part of, you know, what I still want to do. And then finally, this is what got me kind of started on all of this. Let's offer this to people, which is kind of odd because it's nothing I ever wanted to do other than Jim Hayes kept telling me I needed to, and I was going, yeah, I don't want to do that. But then Dana Dunbar came into my life as a writer, and she was having trouble getting a book published, and so I said, well, if mainstream people don't want to publish it, let's just do it anyway. And as a result of that, I'm still working with her and her sister, working with Dana Carpenter, who some of you may know, as a publishing facilitator. Just to, especially if you're trying to get visionary fiction, spiritual fiction, that type of thing out there. So all of these things come together for me as someone who wants to share and heal and just, you know, put that light out into the world. The PowerPoint has how to get hold of me, the sheet that you have, as well as the brochure that I put out there, although my website's not quite up yet, so I gave you an alternate email to get hold of me. I'm trying to find where my mouse wants to go to shut this down. I'll just get down here and do it. At the Yahoo email address until my website's up. That's it. Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? Okay, I got my stuff over here on the table.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
You can tell she was a college professor, right?
Yeah.
You know. Thanks. Next on our list, before I'm gonna draw first. Okay. See the next one.
Next
Is Cody Allen. He's not here, but coming shortly.
I've already started. I just
He's already paid,
it all together.
so his name's in the pot. All right. Next, we have another young, vibrant April Bustle.
Norma Grace.
It's gonna be short and
And
sweet.
so,
I'm April Bustle. I am certified in Healing Touch. I provide energy therapy sessions here at Suite 138. And I also do sound healing. So just like to play, and encourage everybody else to play. We do have sound healing events coming up. August 21st, we have a sound bath or vibrational sound healing where you can just come, bring blankets and pillows, or we have them here, and lay on the floor and just relax and receive. Or there is August 25th, we set up massage tables and we place bowls on the body, and everybody can participate and play and receive healing that way. Anybody have questions? That's it for me then. And Brian is next.
We're gonna slip you in before I draw again, Brian. We can, you're next. I'm gonna draw first. Yeah, this is our wonderful computer tech person. He's gonna share, but first, I drew another name that was in here twice. Is that okay? Cecilia.
Cecilia?
Oh, a baby boy. Are we doing the twicers? Giving them a second chance?
Yeah.
Okay. Cause
You only picked one, Celia. You wanna pick?
Oh, I didn't know I got to pick two.
Yeah, if you got two.
And
deals.
Kathy. All right, Brian, you're on.
These are taken.
Our wonderful computer person who has helped us tremendously with our website. He is very, very intelligent.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Brian Bustle. Pretty much computer nerd, I guess you could say. Also, plant medicine facilitator, sweat leader, sound healer, and many other things. Today I'm going to talk about web development, also some computer repair, which is some of the services that I offer to be of service. It's my talent, it's what I can do. So I'm going to speak about that. As far as the web development goes, like Joy has said, I've done a lot of work to the Radiant Living website, did a redesign on it, made it mobile responsive. So that responsive means that whatever device you pull the website up on, it will automatically change and optimize itself to work on that specific device. So cell phones, tablets, computers, any device that is utilized, it'll look at the screen ratio and automatically optimize itself for that screen. So I'm just going to cover a few key things here. I don't want to provide too much information to cause information overload and confusion. But some of the things that I offer with the websites that I build, I use WordPress for the websites that I build because it's very Google friendly. Google can easily scrape those websites and see where it should categorize that website and for what keywords that your website is shooting for. So like the specific service that you're offering on this website, it will see that, and whenever people search in Google, it's called search engine optimization, which is something else that I do with the website. It will pull it up on the first page of Google for that specific key term that people are looking for. As far as the hosting goes, I use high-speed hosting service. That's the #1 service for WordPress websites. I include SSL, which is HTTPS. It's whenever you pull up a website and it shows that it's a secured website. Nowadays, when you pull up a website and it doesn't have HTTPS, you're gonna get this ugly error message on there saying this site is not safe for you to visit. So you don't want it to deter people from visiting your website, so it's pretty important to have SSL these days. Like I said, I offer professional design that is mobile responsive, integrate with your email marketing, whatever software you're using for email marketing. That's important because you want people to visit your website, but you also want to be able to redirect them back. So you want to capture some information so that you can continually remarket to them, providing them with some form of contact. So you're talking about your service, you're adding value, you're creating that relationship and driving them back to you to show that you're credible within that marketplace, and also give you authority in that marketplace. So that's very important. You don't want to have people visiting your website and then going off and forgetting about you. You want to keep you and your service in their mind. And that's the way you can do it, is with email marketing. Also branding across multiple social media platforms, whatever you use for your social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You want those brandings to be consistent across each of those platforms. It's also important to have social media and have your website configured in that, because it creates what's called a backlink, which also helps you with the search engine optimization, because those are high page ranking websites, and if they're pointing to your website, it's going to help boost you in the Google rankings. As far as computer repair services, any type of data migration, so if you get a new computer, copy the data off the old computer and move it over to the new computer. Any PC tune-ups, your computer's running slow, I can speed it back up, virus removal, and any type of hardware issues. But that's just some little tidbit what I can do and what I can help you with, and I'll go ahead and conclude with that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Brian. He has been such a great help with our website and donated a lot of time to the Radiant Living Center with all the things that he does. So we really, really appreciate him. I think all of the names have been drawn, right? We don't have anybody yet. So if no other visitors show up, then we'll draw from our practitioners here.
A little bit, yeah.
That was Brian and April. And next is, where is she? Roxy. Roxy. There she is. She's sitting down. Roxy Bell. Thank you, Roxy.
Okay. So I don't always dress this cool. I was actually part of a downtown detective clued up kind of virtual game today. And I decided to go ahead and come in costume and kind of keep everything along the same line. So here's my trusty magnifying lens, right, to look for clues. Unfortunately, I've only been able to discover myself in it. And of course my notebook to tell you to write down the clues that I have found along the way. So a couple of clues that I wanted to share with you, and what my focus is going to be for my life coaching type of business, which I don't really like that term, so I have actually termed it mindful mentoring, because I'd rather stay in the present and focus on what what you're going through in the present moment rather than delving up the past necessarily. And also be more of a mentor, making a safe place rather than pushing you in a direction you might not want to go, like coaches sometimes can do. So the clues I found along the way and that I want to talk about are power, passion, and peace. So I want to help you take back your power. I think we tend to run along old programming. I think we're born authentic, our true selves, and then through parents and institutions and society, we get shaped into who other people think we should be. And I think we kind of lose some of ourself that way. And so my goal is to help you rediscover that authenticity within yourself. And I think some of the other ways we can do that is by recognizing and removing the masks that we wear for people every day. I want to help you find your passion. So I want to help you find what you're really excited about. We all have little things in our lives that we think, oh, that really excites me. And it's not something big. It's usually like if I see a butterfly, I get excited. It makes me happy. If I, see a field full of sunflowers, it makes me happy. So how can we find those things that make us happy, that will help energize us and help us find our strengths that lie within those things that make us happy? So that's the other thing, is finding our strengths. And finding our purpose, our life purpose, like Pam said, whether that's a relationship, whether it's a vocation, or whether it's a calling. I like to try and help people discover what that might be for them. And then finally, to figure out how to live in peace. I think we all need to find that balance. I think balance is a key word we hear a lot these days. How to find that work-family balance, how to find that work play. And I think a lot now we hear a lot about the balance between individuality and community. How can we find that balance between respecting what we need and giving back to the society as well. And in living in peace, I think we have to embrace our duality. A lot of times we see ourselves as good or bad, or we see our traits as good or bad. And so I'd like to help people embrace our duality, because we all have light and darkness. We all have masculine and feminine qualities. So rather than seeing the quality as bad, how can we take that quality and see the strength in it? And then finally, just making self-care a priority. I kind of struggled today because I knew this was going on, but I'd already committed to my friends to doing this clue event. So I had to decide, what do I do? Should I blow them off? Should I go to this? And I decided, no, I can do both, because I want to do it for me. I want to go and have fun and just make it part of the fun. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Roxy. She's another new one to us, and I'm so excited about what she has to offer us. And next is our clinical herbalist, Joan.
Hi everybody and welcome. My name is Joan Cowden. I'm a clinical herbalist. I took my training at the North American Institute of Medical Herbalism, which is one of the top schools in the country. So it's kind of like saying I graduated from Harvard in the School of Herbalism. And I am very pleased with that training because it took me forward so far. But before I was a clinical herbalist, I was a folk herbalist for a long, long time, many decades. In 1971, I had an epiphany it came to my mind, what if we could walk through the fields and in the woods and know what herbs to use for whatever was ailing us at the moment. And with that in mind, I got some seeds and began to sit with plants and had planted a little tiny herb garden in my backyard. My little epiphany was in the summer of '71, and by autumn of 1971, I had an herb garden growing, and I began to sit with the herb garden, and especially with my chamomile. And then I realized I'd also drink a little chamomile tea, and I realized that I was learning about the chamomile, what it did for me. I'd never read an herb book. In fact, you couldn't find an herb book at that time. And I was beginning to realize, you do this, and you do this, and your personality is this way. And so I fell in love. And so during that time, I off and on was able to study and help myself, my family, my community with herbs in small and then growing ways. And then I was able to take my clinical classwork. Plants were our first medicine. And they are medicine that our cells know and love. Everything about our body is attuned to work with the plants that we evolved with. So first they work on the cellular level, then the tissue level, then the organs, and help those tissues heal through nourishment primarily. And you say, well, I want to get fixed. What does nourishment have to do with that? That's actually where healing begins, is in the way that our cells can take what they're taking in and use that material. Plants were our first medicine. They're still considered the people's medicine. And Oklahoma feels really strong about that, as we tend to have a strong sense about health freedom and that it's a right. And so it's making a comeback all over the planet at this time because of the hard work of the herbalists of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And now we've seen a really great growth in schools, in herbalism, and in people teaching each other, and it's just wonderful. Herbs are still the primary form of medicine on the planet. And how cells use herbs, I want to speak a little bit about that. People might say, well, I want this herb to do this thing. I have this pain, and I want it to fix this pain. Herbs aren't used like that. Drugs are suppressive. They're used to suppress a symptom. Well, herbalists consider a symptom the language of the body. This is how we're going to learn what your body is saying to us. We don't want to suppress that symptom. We want to take away the cause. We want to nourish the part that's hurting and help it to heal. So that's how we use herbs. And herbs are used, they primarily affect the body through various levels. What is the chemical of this herb? In the end, it might matter some, but most herbalists will say, let's learn about the rest of the herb first. How does it taste? Taste has an immediate effect on your body. For example, if you taste bitter, your whole digestive system kicks into gear preparing for food. If you taste demulcent, that demulcent feeling hits the tongue. Before it's even had time to dissolve and absorb and be in your bloodstream, your body is reacting to that demulcent with this softening of the mucous membrane tissues. How does it know? We don't know, but it does. And they think that there's probably some reflex action going on there. So taste is one of the first ways. Energetics, is the herb hot or cooling? Is it demulcent or drying? So all of those things affect how the herb affects us. And they're part of the herb's language to the body. And what a clinical herbalist brings to the table is they know that about the herbs that they're working with and about how the body responds. They can look at the bodies before them and say, I see that you don't cool easy. You might be a hot-natured person. Let's learn more about that. Maybe some cooling herbs would help you. And herbs also affect not just the body, but the spirit, the mind, and the emotions as well. Anybody who's ever worked with Bach flower knows that how profoundly herbs can affect the emotions. So what a clinical herbalist does is they partner with you to learn about your symptoms so that they can learn the language of your body and what your body is telling them and telling you, so that they can match the herbs to your unique self. Doctors treat symptoms and they label diseases. Herbalists don't care. They want to know what your body is saying. So they offer healing and improve health. They nourish health, I guess is the best way to put it. They nourish health rather than treating symptoms and suppressing symptoms. And we used to have doctors say, well, you can't say that. You can't say you're diagnosing something. We say, we wouldn't want to. But we will partner with you to help you find the herbs that will nourish your unique body in your unique situation the best. Your body is a conjunction of your lifestyle, your diet, your stressors, your everyday life, your sleep, and all those things factor into right where you and your health are right now. And that's true for anybody, no matter how healthy or how unhealthy they may feel or be. And another thing that I do, of course, like as somebody earlier said, I bring Reiki to the table. I don't need to use it in my practice so much, but I also am energetically attuned, and I come from a long line of Irish and Moravian women who have the sight. And there's no getting away from that either. And so that also is part of my practice. And when I partner with somebody, I look at their diet, I look at their complaint, and I also look at how they're connecting with the world that we have gradually become disconnected from in our lifestyles, and offer ways to reconnect. Another part of my practice is reconnection with earth rhythms. We have diurnal rhythms, the day-night rhythms. And at night, part of our hormones are made only at night, and if we don't sleep, we're not getting that rejuvenation, so sleep is important. The lunar rhythms are important, and most especially to the female body, but also to the male body. The solar rhythm's important. The rhythms of season affect us, especially emotionally. And so reconnecting with all those is part of the process as well. And I offer simple exercises to do that. But first and foremost, my love is the plants and how they help us heal. I call plants health from the heart of nature. That's the way I frame it. So do you have any questions? No questions. An appointment can be short, can be like 30 minutes to start, but for people who are really in chronic illness, we'll need an hour and a half to start, and then after that we can go really short, okay? So, and something else to think about is it need not be chronic illness. If you're getting ready for winter and you know that you're the type of person that ends up having flus and colds during the winter, come see me. Let's see if we can circumvent that. Let's start now with loving the immune system and nourishing the immune system so you don't have to go through that. If you have respiratory issues, that sort of thing too, can definitely work on those. Sleep issues, stress, insomnia, common cold, aches and pains, joint issues, all are the everyday work of an herbalist, a clinical herbalist. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. This is a blessing to the community. I really appreciate her. At the end, we're gonna draw from the practitioners that are here, and so we're waiting to see if anyone else comes in before we do that. So, our next presenter is someone I only met a few months ago, but she's been a blessing to my life, and I know has helped many people already. Ricky Cepeda.
Hi, I'm Ricky Cepeda. I'm not really big into labels, so I don't really know what you call me. I do healing. I'm certified in Reiki. I do soul realignment also. So we look at karma that we might be repeating and somehow is affecting us in this lifetime, and we try to clear it. So I work with people on that level. I do read cards, and I am also an intuitive reader. I see people's energy flow. I get things sometimes as pictures, sometimes I hear it, sometimes I see things like a movie. So I connect with different people in different ways. It just depends on what the other person is really open to. I'm all about self-empowerment. I think that I can do a reading for someone and I might give them the answer. And then they might come back to me and it's the same answer and the same question. At that point, I guess I may differ from some people because at that point, it stops being about the person. Now we need to work on self-empowerment, helping them find their own answers within themselves. And so I kind of look at it that way. So I'm here to answer questions, but I'm also here to help you find the answers that you need and a way for you to find them for yourselves in whatever way that may be. Maybe cards, it may be a pendulum, it may just be learning how to get in touch with your intuition and trusting it. So I'm here for whatever you may need. And I'm always available. So it's nice to meet all of you.
Vicky has also done some work with animals recently too, so in case you're interested in that, she's very helpful. Well, what we have left is, there was a couple of people who were supposed to be here today, and one got sick in particular, the other had an emergency come up. And one of them is Misty Reed. Pam's gonna say a little bit about her, just because she's taken over her yoga classes that she's been doing on Friday mornings, and just give us a little brief. She felt really horrible, but she said she couldn't even hardly get out of bed this morning, but she really wanted to be here. So Pam, you wanna say a little bit about Misty?
Sure. I started offering yoga classes here on Friday mornings in response to some people whose teacher had passed and they were missing their yoga class. And I did that for about 15 months, and serendipity put Misty and me together through Joyous. I was wanting to stop and she was wanting to start. So Misty is a lovely, I say young woman, she's in her 40s, but so is my daughter. So, and she has taken the class. It's on Friday mornings. She is a registered yoga teacher. Friday mornings at 10 o'clock from 10 to 11:15 or so. There's a core group of about 5 women that are almost always there. Everybody's a little bit older, and it's a gentle yoga class, but also has a fair amount of movement in it because those women demand it. So she charges $12 for a drop-in, and if you get a package of 5 classes, it's $50, so you save a little bit, per class. And all of the props are here. You don't even have to own a yoga mat. So I would highly recommend it. I've been getting wonderful reports from the women who are taking the class. They really like her a lot.
Thank you, Pam. Appreciate that. And, Misty, wherever you are, we're sending you healing energy. Now, and then we have a special guest today, because she wasn't on the list, because she wasn't going to be able to be here. She's one of our therapists in the community. And her schedule changed, and so since we have some others that had to drop out, I am going to let Jan Reed tell you about what she does.
Special. I like the name Special.
Of course.
I'm very honored to be here today because, as we all know, everything is divine intervention. And so I feel like through divine intervention I'm here. No speech, no brochures, no business cards. Just me. I would like to say before I get started in on myself is that what a wonderful place you've come to today. If this is your first time ever visiting Radiant Living, good for you. And if it's your second, third, or 100th time, way good for you. This is an amazing place to be. And if you could have been here 5 years ago when all of this began, it was only a dream to be a nonprofit. And I only feel blessed that I've been able to be part of what's going on here at Radiant Living. I myself do energy therapy. I do hold a certification in Healing Touch. I've taken several other classes. The last one I just took was an animal communication class, which was pretty amazing. But what I can tell you is what I bring to the table to you when you get on my table is I bring my heart. And I stay heart-centered because I don't know what else to do, because it is all divine intervention. I can take all the classes in the world, but I am here to tell you that whatever is needed for you at the time will come through. And I don't even need to know what that is. So if you have an opportunity, I say look up any of the practitioners at Radiant Living. You are not going to go wrong. We all need something different at different times. That is the beauty of this place, is that it brings the different, so that word left my mind. Modalities, thank you. It brings the different modalities. You know, today you might need a reading from Ricky. Tomorrow you may want, to sit with Joan and see what you can do as far as the herbs. But no, this is a plethora of information and love and help that goes on here. And all I can say is it begins with self-love. Love yourself enough to take the first step. from your heart. Namaste.
Namaste.